When you think about the great point guards and post players that our game, not just our league, but our game has seen, they are going to go as the greatest. And I'm excited about the opportunity to work with them. I'm excited about the opportunity that we have to build from those starting points and build out, and for the longevity that those two could have in Indiana, in Indianapolis, and hanging banners in this building. All of those things are so exciting. The future's really bright, and I'm just glad to be a part of it.
After just a few training sessions with Caitlin Clark, who has already seen some of the best players in WNBA history, Stephanie White, the head coach of the Indiana Fever, was taken aback. White already knew that Caitlin was a generational talent and that she was the face of women's basketball before ever playing a single WNBA game, but White just revealed something that completely changed the way that Clark will impact this league. One small detail in Caitlin's training caught White completely off guard, something that sets her apart from almost every other player she has ever coached. When a coach who has worked with one of the greatest WNBA players of all time is drawing comparisons like this, it means something significant. Let's examine exactly what's going on inside Fever training camp and why Caitlin Clark is already demonstrating that she's built differently. For those who are unaware, Stephanie White's statement that Caitlin Clark's hard ethic reminds her of Tama Catchings is historic. She has coached some of the top players in the game and is not the kind to spread unwarranted praise. It's amazing that Clark, a rookie, is already being compared to WNBA legend Tama Catchings, a Hall of Famer, and one of the hardest working players to have ever set foot on the court in terms of effort and dedication. White acknowledged that she has only worked with Clark a few times thus far, but she has already noticed a certain drive that sets decent players apart from legends. Clark isn't merely attending practices and following the routine. She is driven to improve and analyze the game like an expert. She pushes herself and asks the proper questions, above and beyond expectations. And here's the crazy part. White hasn't even finished coaching her yet, and already Clark is blowing people away. This isn't just about talent. Many players enter the WNBA with talent, but Clark has a greater obsession with greatness than any other player in history. One of Caitlin Clark's most prominent stories is that she may be too famous to receive coaching. Some critics have implied that because she is already so well known in women's basketball, she may be reluctant to learn from coaches who haven't achieved as much as she has. But that couldn't be further from the reality. Think about how uncommon it is for a player who is already breaking records and one of the biggest names in basketball to be hungry for improvement. Even though she could easily coast on her talent and natural shooting ability, Stephanie White made it clear that Clark wants to be coached. She isn't just open to criticism, she's asking for it. She wants to be pushed, challenged, and to become the best player to ever play the game. While other rising stars may struggle with ego or refuse to change their game, Clark embodies what most great players desire: coaching, challenge, and pushing themselves beyond their comfort zone. Caitlin Clark is dangerous because she embraces the grind. She is already a light, but she works as if she still has everything to show. She hasn't even participated in a single WNBA game, but she is already taking charge at Fever training camp, which isn't only unusual. Most rookies enter the league with the mindset of proving themselves individually, focusing on adjusting to the physicality, speed, and leadership of the team. This typically happens years after a player has established themselves as a star, but Clark is already leading from day one. Stephanie White has worked with many young players in the past, but she's noticing something different about Clark. It's almost unheard of for a rookie to command this level of respect from her teammates and coaches before even playing her first professional game. The path she sets the tone for the whole Fever roster with the way she conducts herself around colleagues and demands excellence from everyone in the gym. Even the team's veterans acknowledge Clark's influence, which speaks volumes about her mindset. Clark doesn't hesitate to speak up. She doesn't wait for approval to take charge or fade into the background in the hopes of gradually gaining respect. Instead, she is embracing it now. Her colleagues are already working harder because of her infectious spirit and practice, whether it's persevering through difficult exercises, staying late for more shooting reps, or pushing others to improve. Since Clark has a natural capacity to uplift everyone around her, she is not just a fantastic player, but also a franchise changer. She is introducing a winning culture to this team. This kind of leadership is something that true leaders are born with. Caitlin Clark's preoccupation with perfection is one of the main factors that sets her apart from other rookies, not simply her skill. Stephanie White has already observed that Clark is never content to simply be good. She expects herself to be exceptional in every possession, shot, and choice. This goes beyond simply working hard. Many athletes put in extra hours at the gym, but few possess Clark's level of self-control and focus. Every time she takes the court, she studies the game in real time, constantly evaluating her own movements, fixing errors, and refining her strategy. If something isn't working, she won't simply move on. Instead, she will identify the exact cause and make the necessary corrections right away. One of the greatest compliments any coach could offer is that White likened Clark's work ethic to that of Tamama Catchings. Being referred to by her name before ever playing a professional game speaks volumes about Clark's approach to the game. And what's even more frightening for the rest of the WNBA is that Clark is just getting started. Catchings wasn't just a star, she was one of the most diligent and hard-working players in WNBA history. She's honing all facets of her game, not just her shooting and ball handling. She's studying defensive coverages, learning how to assess her opponent's tendencies, and honing her ability to make quick, wise judgments. Because of her obsession with mastery under pressure, which sets legends apart from the others, Clark is not merely a terrific player, but a player who can define an era. If Caitlin Clark is already shocking her coach during training camp, what does that mean for the rest of the WNBA? It means they're in trouble. There's a reason why Clark is being hailed as one of the most game-changing rookies the league has ever seen. This level of focus is something you can't teach. You either have it or you don't. Not only is she a fantastic shooter and scorer, but she is also a once-in-a-generation competitor who is working harder than anyone to make sure she is unstoppable when she takes the court for the first time. It often takes a year or two for rising stars to fully take over in the WNBA, but Clark isn't constructed like other rookies. Instead, she enters the league prepared to dominate right away. Some rookies take their time adjusting to the game's speed, physicality, and level of competition. Not only is Stephanie White comparing Clark's work ethic to the greatest of all time, but she has worked with WNBA champions, MVPs, and legends. This is not just hype. It's a warning message for all other teams in the league. Caitlin Clark is about to become the most feared player in the WNBA because she is not only bringing talent, but also a level of preparation, intensity, and leadership that will make her unstoppable. The rest of the league needs to wake up because Caitlin Clark is coming and she is not here to participate. She is here to take over. Clark isn't just here to be good, she's here to change the game. She's entering the league at a time when women's basketball is exploding in popularity, and she is at the center of it all. Every single game she plays will be watched by millions of people, and every move she makes will be scrutinized, and based on what she has already demonstrated in training camp, she is ready for it.